Kyodo News English World。
皆さんこんにちは。こちらは共同通信英文記者のポッドキャストです。英文記者は国内外で起きている出来事について取材してオリジナルの英文記事を発信したり、日本語のニュースを英語に翻訳したりしています。共同通信の英語の記事をテーマに、いろんな国から集まる仲間たちと英語と日本語を交えていろいろディスカッションしていけたらと思っています。今日は3人の記者でお届けします。私は堀内純子と申します。2009年に共同通信社に入社しました。2年ほど松江支局で日本語の記者もしていました。よろしくお願いします。
Hi there, everybody. My name is Eduardo Martinez, and I've been here at Kyodo News for over 3 years now. I'm originally from Brisbane, Australia. It's nice to meet you all.
Hi there, my name is Peter Mashter. I'm a staff writer at Kyodo News. I've worked here for about 3 years now. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございます。今日の記事ですけれども、任天堂の家庭用ゲーム機、任天堂スイッチの記事です。見出しをお願いします。
はい。Nintendo to release Switch 2 console on June 5 for 49,980 yen.
待望のゲーム機のようですけれども、6月5日に発売されるということですね。最初のサンパラをお願いします。
はい。Nintendo Co. has announced that it will release the Switch 2 game console on June 5, unveiling details of the long-awaited successor to the original device for the first time in an online video. A short time later, Nintendo said in a statement that the new console will be priced at 49,980 yen for a Japanese-only version of the machine. The multi-language system will be available for 69,980 yen. Users can play titles exclusive to the new console, as well as games available in both physical and digital formats for the current Switch. The Switch functions as both a portable device and a stationary console that can connect to a TV.
ありがとうございます。現行機任天堂スイッチが2017年3月の発売だったので、8年3ヶ月ぶりに投入する後継機ということで、結構注目も高かったと思うんですけれども、ゲームに詳しいピーターさん、現行機とどういうところが違うんでしょうか？
I think that the new Switch is more of an iterative change, so it's which is to say that it's an upgrade. So a lot of what's different about it is the size of the screen, the graphics, but there's also a renewed focus on communication. So they've released a new C button, which allows you to speak with people online and use video.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can be videoed while you play your own games and stuff like that. So they're really leaning into communication features.
なるほど。今まではできなかったんですよね。
On a Nintendo console, yes.
そうなんですね。
In other games consoles, that's kind of becoming the norm, right? Having a communication feature.
Yes. Yes.
フォートナイトとか遠隔にいるプレイヤーと、話しながらね話す機能は結構標準機能なのかなと思いましたけど、任天堂ではなかったんですね。
Yeah, Nintendo's consoles tend to be a bit more careful about online play and what they allow people to do, but this time they seem to be going in a bit harder on the communications.
Embracing that trend. And so what has been the reception to the price of the new console? Because, we can see that the Japanese-only version and the multi-language system that differs quite considerably.
Yeah, so the article says that Nintendo is releasing a Japanese-only version of the console for about 50,000 yen. It appears that they're doing this to try to prevent scalpers or tembaya. And there are some quite stringent rules if you want to pre-order one of these machines in Japan. So you have to prove that you've played your console for more than 50 hours as of a certain date, that you have a year's subscription on their online service.
Wow.
And that your account is a Japan account. Otherwise, they won't let you apply to have one of these machines. The multi-language version is 69,980 yen, which is a machine that anyone can play in any language. So I suspect, again, that is part of a way to prevent people from coming here to buy the cheaper Japanese version So if they want to use the system in English, for example, then they'd have to spend more money to do that.
So do you think these separate prices for the Japanese and non-Japanese versions of the games are just for out of wariness of scalpers, or are there any other possible like meanings behind it?
I think part of the reason may be due to the reduced purchasing power of the Japanese consumer with the weakness of the yen.
Right.
So that's likely to have been taken into account. But also the full reveal of this console came on April 2nd, just before US President Donald Trump announced reciprocal tariffs against most of the countries of the world, which has created some uncertainty about how much the company can price its products in for the US market, for example, because the majority of Switch consoles are produced in China and Vietnam, which are quite heavily hit by these tariffs at the time of recording. And as an extension of that, on April 4th, Nintendo said that they were going to delay pre-orders on the console, which had been due to open on April 9th, as they evaluate the effect of President Donald Trump's tariffs.
So could you talk us then through give us some background on like the popularity of the original Switch console? So how anticipated was this release? What are some of the more popular titles? What games do you like to play, Peter? If you're
I won't answer that question. Yes, so the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement is quite hotly anticipated because the Nintendo Switch console, the predecessor console, is the second best-selling console that Nintendo has ever released, according to figures from December 31st, 2024. They said that they'd sold 150.86 million Nintendo Switch consoles. That's quite a marked departure from their previous home console, the Wii U. I don't think either of you know about.
No, I hadn't. Maybe no, not really.
Yeah. So that console only sold 13.56 million units.
And that's a considerable difference.
Yes, and that was the predecessor to the Wii, which was a massive success with people who don't normally play video games.
Right.
So Nintendo they've been under quite a lot of pressure to prove that they can build on the success of the Switch and not repeat the situation they had with the Wii and the Wii U, where they botch the delivery of this successor console and then they're forced to regroup. So this is basically a test for that company to see whether they can continue this success.
Right.
I spoke to analysts on the stock market and how the reaction among investors has been. And they said that given the tariff situation, there's some caution, of course. Markets have been going down quite heavily. But compared to the Topics Index, which measures all of the prime listed companies in Japan, the Nintendo stock has outperformed the Topics for the last year. And so they take that to mean that anticipation for the Switch 2 remains high, and that investors still think that it's going to have quite a smooth launch.
ありがとうございます。楽しみですね。そろそろ終わりの時間が来ました。共同通信では共同ニュースプラスというサイトで日本や世界で起きた出来事について英語のニュースを発信しています。今日ご紹介した記事も掲載されていますので、ぜひチェックしてみてください。それでは皆さん、See you next time!